Okay, so Shannon Sharpe has been sued recently by one of his Beckishas, and he's been sued for $50 million, and she is claiming that he raped her. Okay, now I really do want to take my time with this subject, because I have a lot that I want to say about it, and I just want to make sure that I get everything out that I have to say about it. I spent a lot of time just trying to decide exactly how I wanted to express myself and how I wanted to do this video. Because on my channel, I usually want to always keep it lighthearted, because I'm a very, naturally, I'm just a very fun-loving person. I like to have a good time. And obviously, that I like to drink and smoke and whatever, and, whatever. But the more I thought about this, the more that I just didn't see anything about it, or anything in it that was funny, or, anything that, put me in the mindset of, wanting to just drink and chill or whatever. This situation is very embarrassing. It's an abysmal, black stain on the black community as a whole. And it's just nothing that's funny about it. But I did have a few points that I wanted to make about it. And, when it comes to black people, I'm always looking to try to understand. I'm always within myself just trying to go back and forth in my thoughts to try to figure out what exactly it is that is causing this behavior and why these people do what they do. The best conclusion that I have reached is that black people have, at this point, have such a habit of practicing illogical behavior to the point that now it's extremely normal. And I think that is the reason why when you have black people, the few, and I stress the few that don't really think like the herd, they're typically attacked, because, to the majority that thinks illogically, they look at your logical reasoning as illogical, just because they're so backwards and they don't understand, or it looks foreign to them that you're thinking differently than the status quo of this backwardness that has really permeated black men and also black women to a certain extent. Like I said, I'm always looking to try to understand the way that these people think. Now, you have a man here who, he's in his 50s. He is he's a retired athlete. And instead of, walking in integrity and just having a normal lifestyle, wife and children, and just living his life in peace and harmony, you have a man here who, he is a proud swirler. He is extremely anti-black female. He's extremely degenerate in all of his ways and his psychology, the way that he thinks. He sat and put out audio of him, I guess, apparently having sex on a live stream. And then he sat up there with, on his Club Shay Shay channel with some comedian named Donnell Rawlings, who, they sat up there and they were laughing and relishing in the fact that they have access to white women and just in their overall desire to only be sexually deviant. Okay. Irregardless of if the girl is lying or not, the fact of the matter is that really doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that he put himself in this situation because this is his MO. And when it comes to men like him, this is just all that they do. You know, they're very sexually deviant, and they love to put themselves around groups of people that really do not like them. And even though they understand the system that they're living in, and they know that ultimately, you know, in most cases, they're really not going to be shown any fairness or really get a, you know, they already know and understand that they live in a racist system that is against them. They still will continue to put themselves in these situations. Now, he said in response to the lawsuit that he feels like that it's racism, and that he's being attacked because I guess apparently he was supposed to be signing some kind of $1 million contract due to the success of his YouTube channel. My thing of it is this: how is it that you can accuse these people of being racist against you, and you yourself have your own racism against black people? That to me, that sort of, or not black people, but you yourself have your own, and not, let me not say racism, you have your own discriminatory mentality against black women. That to me, it doesn't make sense. It's very backwards and it's very illogical. But you will see with men like him, Terrell Owens, and a lot of these other ones, as soon as they get into some hot water behind some bad decisions that they made, they always want to say that they are being treated unfairly due to racism. But the truth of the matter is that none of these black dudes, and not all of them, but the general populace of black men, you know, these ones that have the mentality like Shannon Sharpe, they really don't give a fuck about racism at all. They don't care about the fact that they're completely dominated and conquered, and that they're sitting in a system that wants to keep them in a subservient, dominated position. They don't give a fuck about none of that. The only thing that they care about, or the only time that you hear them crying foul about anything, is when they are personally affected. They don't give a damn about the next person. All they care about is their own fucking personal gain. And that's why I don't understand why they even have fans. Okay, let me just close the door on that, because I don't want this video to be too long. Let me go to my next point, because that shit, it doesn't make a bit of sense to me. Secondly, let me get on black women. On one of these videos that I looked at, right? Now this is the video, was an Entertainment Tonight video, just talking about this situation, about the lawsuit. You will see so many black women underneath this video who are showing the utmost support for Shannon Sharpe, despite the fact that it's not returned. Shannon Sharpe don't give a damn about black women. He couldn't give a fuck about black women. And if this was happening to another black woman, you think that he would give a fuck about it? Shannon Sharpe don't give a fuck about black women. But you have so many of them underneath this comment section that are showing support for him. And in my mind, I can only, like I said, only try to understand why this is. On one end, you have these treasonous black men. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have black women who, despite seeing how treasonous they are still supporting them. I don't get it. I don't understand that shit. That shit don't make sense to me. And it bothers me on such a deep level that they do this. Like, I'm telling you, if anybody who watches this video, if you have, any sort of, good explanation, if you have a perspective on this that you feel would be helpful, please leave a comment down below, because I really do want to understand, because I feel like, I've heard, all the usual explanations as to why these things occur. Like, oh, it's because of slavery, and oh, it's because of Jim Crow, and oh, the whitewashing and all this. But that really is that's the surface level. I would like to know what is really the root cause of this behavior and why it is occurring. That's what I want to know. But yeah, you just have a whole bunch of black women leaving comments supporting him. And I don't understand this shit. And not everybody, you do have some people that's saying like this person here, you reap what you sow. You do have those, but there is so many more people who are supporting Shannon Sharpe, and I really I just don't understand it. I don't understand that shit. I don't understand it. But one thing I do know is that when it comes to men like Shannon Sharpe, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, when it comes to men like Shannon Sharpe, this is just what they do. You don't have to look far. You don't have to wait a whole bunch of years. And there's always going to be some kind of degeneracy that bites them in their fat black ass. It's always going to be something. But let me preference this real quick. I just want to play this video. I think that this video, and it's actually, and this is Tanya TKO, just in case you don't know. This is one of her videos. I think that this video, I feel like, gives me some clarity, or more of like a finite answer as to why this mindset, where it's coming from and why it occurs. So let me just play that.
Black men secretly hate their mama. Black men's issue is not really with you, ladies. It's with their mother, because their daddy left their mama. If you're not already triggered and you're sticking around, Christelyn Karazin, also known as the Pink Pill, wrote a letter in response to the single mother crisis and the absent father crisis within our community. And this is probably the most scathing letter that I think has ever been written, but it is the most truthful thing I think I've ever read. This letter, sister, is from someone who is sitting, not so quietly observing, and taking notes as I look upon angry black men all over the internet, making videos and blog posts about how ugly you are, how unworthy you are of love, how disgusting you look in your hairstyles and clothes, how no man in his right mind could stand to tolerate you more than one night, and it better be in the dark, with a bag over your head.
Okay.
These men are the babies you birthed, the boys you loved and spoiled, the young men you wrangled with, who grew up with you at the helm of the household, mostly without their fathers, and they hate you for it.
I'm here at Shams Camp in Deir al-Balah, one of the
Chickens have come home to roost as the wave of I can be both mother and father to my son has reached its peak. It's the results we'll continue to see as 80% of black women across all social and economic strata are having their first children unmarried and unprotected. They hate you because you are there. They hate you because you're the one who stayed and struggled, no doubt made some mistakes. Hey, we all do. and found yourselves impotent and incompetent in all things man-related, an essential and necessary factor for boys to grow into men, that is. The husband you married when he was 15 years old was probably too late to truly make a difference, and even if he did, your son will always have a hole in his heart for the father who never was. But because you were there and shielded your son from death and starvation, gave your son comfort and kisses, he can't show his anger towards you. You will always be highly esteemed. He'll praise and sing odes of mama and beat anyone to a pulp if they dare say anything against you. So what does your son do with all that anger? He takes it out on every single woman that looks like you. Your son wants to call you fat and ugly and unwanted. He wants to say that you're too black and nappy-headed to be beautiful. You must be all of those things, because if you weren't, then maybe his father would have thought that you were worth sticking around for. He wants to say, Mama, you ain't worth but he can't. And so he says it to us. Now that the man boy you have raised has the body of an adult, he has no idea what he wants. He wants to be the man he never saw growing up, and he might as well be 8 years old trying on his grandfather's old suit. He is not equipped. He expresses his manhood in the basest and most primal way, out of instinct and desire for dominance. He will have Herculean expectations of you as a partner. You must work full time, come home, clean, and cook, and fuck him like a porn star, obviously, ladies, I would say that's the truth. At 3 in.the morning, that is. Support him in every decision he makes, no matter how idiotic. Tolerate gross disrespect. To be a man is to pump and dump the worthless, unlovable, and ugly black women he despises, and if he leaves a few babies in his wake, so what? He'll make claims that he'll be around for the child, but that ain't getting his money. He'll be there for birth and bring you the grandmother along to fawn, and within 5 years he'll be gone and maybe show up for sporadic weekends and day trips to Disneyland. But he'll leave you to do all the heavy lifting, and that son that you raise will grow up and hate you and us too. You birthed him, but he hates you because it's just easier. These men who hate you and all of us will disguise their venom about how our attitudes and hair and hats and obesity make us undesirable to all races. So don't even bother going on pages like Beyond Black and White, because you're just a thirsty black and don't you know that nobody wants you? He'll tell you that his verbal barbs are done out of love because he wants you to do better. That black man will even say that while he spits on you, he really only dates and mates with black women. So that's proof that he really does care, right? Pleasing him will always be a moving target because you're not meant to win, only run on the fucking hamster wheel frenetically and breathlessly, only to go nowhere. And when the relationship fails, the men who dog you tell you that you needed to choose better, while having no desire themselves to actually be better candidates. They want us as women to make them as men better, all the while knowing that we cannot. We cannot rebirth what has already been birthed. We cannot recreate what has already been created. And so many of us want so much to please him because, after all, he is our son. The baby we birthed, the boy we comforted and kissed, the young man we wrangled with. We don't want to believe that we raised a monster. But we did. Clearly the damage is done. But what can we do? We cannot undo several generations of black men who despise us, but we can guard our wombs against yet another legion of black woman-hating monsters. And yes, sisters, we do have the power. Stop birthing these haters of black women, these fire-breathing soul killers. Demand more, and yes, choose better. But do not choose from the less rotten of a bushel full of rotten apples and hope it won't make you sick. Demand to see all the fruit, the apples, the oranges, the plums, the strawberries, watermelons, and amongst them pick the ripest, the freshest, and the sweetest. That was a lot to take in, wasn't it? That was written by Christelyn Karazin in The Pink Pill 11 years ago. In a couple days, it'll be 11 years. At that time, she was already seeing the same bullshit that we're experiencing today. I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you got to this part, if you got through that letter and you ain't pissed off, you ought to be. We're seeing the same problem amongst men. Men now are talking about the kind of women we can't take on dates. Women are talking about the kind of places that you have to take them on dates. We are so far behind, it makes no fucking sense. Because the root cause is that black men secretly hate their mothers. Because they want to blame their mothers for their fathers leaving rather than blaming their daddies for leaving to go get milk and never coming back. This is the problem within the black community, and if we don't fix this, we're fucked.
Well.
Okay, so you heard that from Christelyn Karazin, And I think there was a lot of good points in her perspective. You know, I think that to me, it really explains why you have this dumb shit in this comment section from black women. And ultimately, why you have men like this. Now, that's just one perspective, you know, and like I said, if anybody else has, you know, their own perspectives on it, please, you know, like I said, leave it down below, because I am always constantly trying to understand. And I feel like I really still have not cracked the code on this mentality. But I have, for years, I have just really been feeling like I really want to either write a book or start a blog or something like that, really analyzing this mentality from these men, because it's so egregious, and it's just so, I don't know, it's just so unwarranted, you know. Like, this punk done seen all of the losses that black men take from dealing with these women, but yet him and so many others, they still continue to do that. Why do they do that dumb shit? Why did they do it back in Jim Crow? Not even that far off the plantation, and they just risking their lives to be around these women. Why do these men like Shannon Sharpe, why do they love to be so degenerate? Is my question. Like, I just really would love that question to be answered. And I feel like people give, you know, a lot of, you know, their perspectives, but I just feel like they're just so surface level. You don't really get a real clear answer about why this is happening. But this is just what these dudes do. You know, and he can come out and say whatever he wants to say about Tony Busby. The fact of the matter is, you put yourself in this situation. The same with Diddy, and the same with Jay-Z's dumbass. You know, he was able to get out of his shit, but Jay-Z is another fucking degenerate. And guess what? You have a bunch of black people defending that degenerate man. As if they don't think that he sat up there right along with Diddy and was doing the same shit. You don't think that he was doing that? But anyways, this is not about that dude. It's not about Jay-Z. But this is just what it is. Anyways, y'all, these are my thoughts. As always, I'm trying to think if there was more to say about it. You know, if there's any updates on this situation, you know, I'll try to come on here and you know, give the update and give my thoughts on whatever is occurring. But anyways, I thank you for listening. And just let me know, please, what your perspective is on this mentality. And until the next video, I'll see you there.